Hey everybody, welcome to this video on how to put together some basic courseware on Digital Soulspace. Digital Soulspace is hosted on Mighty Networks, and part of the reason we chose them was because of their incredible ability to have courseware on the system, which can be a combination of text files, video files. It even has quizzes and chapters and ways that you have to pass certain sections in order to move on to the next section. It's really an in-depth and wonderful tool on Digital Soulspace. So in order to have a course on Digital Soulspace, you would get a marketplace. So we have on the screen right now, this is a marketplace that we worked with in our prior video. So if you haven't watched the prior video on how to configure your marketplace space, that would be a really good place to start because you might be confused by some of the things we're touching upon since they were covered in the first video. So go back and watch configuring your marketplace video if you haven't already. Okay, so in order to get started with configuring a marketplace, you're going to have to in order to get started to configure a course within your marketplace, you're going to have a certain feature turned on, and that is called, and don't ask me why they called it this, the table of contents. Now, in this example for this video, we've already turned it on, and it is called Workshop. We changed the name. But let me show you how to get there in case it's not turned on already in your marketplace. You're going to access the settings of your marketplace by going into the gear in the middle of the screen. Now, again, we recommend you use a desktop computer for this as it's difficult to configure on a mobile device. You certainly can, but it's rather intense and it might give you some issues. So let's go to the gear icon, and it's going to bring up your space admin. And under space features, you're going to see an item called table of contents. So we're going to click on it. Now, this has been already turned on. So I'm going to turn it off just so you can see how it looks like. And that noise is from my computer, not yours. So I'm going to turn it on. And the table of contents is going to ask you to add a name, or you can just call it table of contents. For the purposes of this video, we're going to call it Workshop. And there it is. It's already right there because we had saved it prior. Now, when you set up a workshop or a courseware, whatever you're going to call this, it asks you variations of the names that you're using. For example, under a workshop, it says the indefinite article name, and it says for uses like the table of contents can be found here. So, in other words, the workshop can be found here. So don't let this confuse you. Now, it also goes over the naming of sections. What do you call a section? What do you call a lesson? What do you call a quiz? How do you want this displayed? What are your preferences? Do you want content to be previewed even though someone hasn't joined the space yet? And resetting progress for each person that's in a course if you want to allow that. What I recommend is that you don't worry about these names just yet. You can change them later on. For example, for a section, you can call it a chapter, or you can add a custom name. For the lesson, you can call it seminar, a part, or add a custom name. And so I would leave these blank until you get your course started, because this is also going to confuse you and it's going to scare you because it's a lot. You just turned on a feature and suddenly it's asking you a bajillion questions. So for now, all you got to worry about is let's put the name of this tab instead of the table of contents. And for the purposes of this video, it's workshop. We're going to go in the upper right hand corner and we're going to click save. That's very important. We're going to close this dialog box by clicking on that letter X. Now, you're going to notice we now have the option here, and I'm going to move my mouse around, and hopefully the screen is showing you my mouse. You can go here, and you're going to click on this workshop page. Now, something you need to know for a workshop when you're configuring it, or a course, or what have you, whatever you want to call it, the view that you see is not the view that the participants will see. It's a completely different view. Okay, so it's It's more streamlined when someone's taking the course, and it looks a lot nicer when someone's taking the course. But for the purposes of your configuration of this course, you're going to see an administrator view. You will always see an administrator view. There's a feature that will soon be available that will allow you to see it as a student as well. Okay? So, uh, you have your workshop page, and it looks really simple. You basically have an overview button. And this overview, if you hover over the little pencil, you can edit it, or if you click on the little vertical dots, you can take a look at overview settings. You can make it visible. You can bookmark the overview, or you can add this to a welcome section, featured section, or featured section of the site or of your space, rather. So you don't have to worry about any of that right now. Um, these options here, we'll go over those in a little bit. The overview right now, if you notice it has a little eyeball with an X through it, that's because it's invisible, okay? And let me click on the overview so that you can see what your students would see if they tapped or clicked on the overview. So this is an overview. Now, this is the original name of the space. Was called Samantha Dennison. It was a space I created for a member here, and I decided to customize it for this video. So, hello, Samantha, if you're watching. I decided this would be a good time to make a video for how you go set up a course. So if you tap on Overview, it puts together a little overview as a default, so you get an idea rather of what sort of information is going to be in an overview. If you click the edit button, you can start editing any of this. You can edit, and you all know if you're familiar with the first video and how to use a block editor, it's the same thing. You can push the plus sign at a blank line, and you can insert a photo, video, or a file. You can insert a video link. You can embed, and you can do lines and ordered lists. So anything, it's just like a blog editor if you're familiar with that. So basically, you have this overview page, and what I have done in a course that I'm working on is I've actually added PDF documents to this page just by clicking that plus sign and saying I want to add a photo, video, or file. I click there and I select a PDF document. And what that does is that it allows me to have some workbooks or supplies for students that they would have in PDF format, and they can find it on the overview. Now, you can do that with any single part of this course, and I'm going to show you how just now, right now. So that's the overview. So we're going to click, I'm going to click cancel because we're not going to make any changes here. But when you're ready, you can see how you can customize. This is the overview of your course or of your workshop. Now, underneath that, after you've worked on that and maybe done some tweaking on it, you can go to create here, and you can create a section or a lesson or a quiz. And that is going to, a section, a lesson, or a quiz. If you remembered when we ran the setup and asked, what do you want sections to be called? What do you want lessons to be called? And what do you want quizzes to be called? So using the default naming convention, it actually works pretty well. You can create a section, a lesson, or a quiz. Now, let's say you're kind of confused on how this is all going to work, right? And you're like, well, I kind of know what I want to do, but how do I make this, how do I make this look like something I want to do for myself? Well, what we're going to do and this is a wonderful new feature that has been put on Mighty Networks, what we're going to do is we're going to let the system create an example for us. So where it says here, create an instant outline, I'm going to say get started. And this actually uses AI. So if you're freaked out about AI, please don't be. This is just going to use AI to set up a course outline for you so you can get an idea of how the software works. This is so incredibly useful. So what is the idea for this outline? I'm going to put here teaching members on the benefits of of observing law of attraction in their spiritual practice. Okay, so I'm just telling the AI what my course is going to be about, and it's going to suggest an outline when you tap here. It says creating an outline. This may take a minute. So the system's gonna put together an outline based on your idea. So, and of course, you're gonna tweak this for yourself. You're gonna, wow, okay. Look at all this that it did. Wow. Introduction to Law of Attractions in Spiritual Practice. It just created an outline for you. Isn't that amazing? Now, right now, like I said, it's not visible. And when it says not visible, it means not visible to students in your space right now. Okay, and not only that, but your space probably right now isn't visible either, unless you're doing this and your space is live, which is why they have this ability to make it hidden, because sometimes your space is already live, but your course is being worked on. So here's the overview, and here is the intro to law of attraction. Again, you can see how you can edit everything, or you can add to it. Like you can add a lesson or a quiz right inside of this. Or you can look at the different settings, make it visible, you can duplicate it, you can move it, bookmark it, and you can use the more section as well. So I'm going to tap on Introduction to Law of Attraction Spiritual Practice. So this is just an introduction. And you notice what it did here. It didn't do the whole thing for you. That would be no fun, right? And that would be cheating. But it did give you an outline that you can work with, and that perhaps you can utilize in your own. But you're going to actually do this is just the bare bones of it. You're going to actually put in the work, and you're going to actually fill in the content. You're not going to, this AI doesn't do that. Okay. So, but it is very helpful because you can start typing here. You can start typing just by clicking the edit button. You can start talking about law of attraction. You can add photos, pictures, all that, and you can make this really, really, really big, and you're going to scroll down. And after you're done typing, you're just going to click save, right? And this is the introduction to your law of attraction spiritual practice. And look at the different sections that are underneath it. Look at the different, rather, lessons that are underneath it, because this is a lesson within the section. The section's called Introduction to Law of Attraction. So these are all individual lessons. By the way, you can drag and drop these and change their order by just holding that on that hamburger menu. Yes, this is called a hamburger menu. And if you look at it and you realize it's the bun, the meat, and another bun, that's why it's called a hamburger menu. You will never see these three lines the same way ever again, will you? So that's the hamburger menu. You can also select each one and use a bulk action by going up here. You can use the bulk action menu if you want to. So again, just like you have, this is the section, and you're going to do an introduction on the section. You can click on the individual lessons, and you're going to click edit in the upper right-hand corner so that you can start typing and create a lesson. Now, part of this lesson, especially in the age of multimedia, is you could upload a video. So you would click edit here, and you would either upload a video through here, or you would use a video link. And this is what I really, really, really recommend, is that you upload your videos to your own YouTube channel, and then you just use the video link here. It is also perfectly acceptable to upload a video that you create and put it here. If it's on YouTube, I would probably, if I had to put money on it, that the quality would be better because they specialize in video streaming. Okay, and you can have HD video, and it automatically adjusts for your viewer. So there's just much more features in a video link that is connected to YouTube, right? So Definitely. And you don't have to make this a visible video on YouTube. You can make it hidden or unlisted, which basically means you have to have the link to view it. And you could and you only the only people that would have the link would be the ones here in your course. If that's the way you want to set it up, it's up to you. Okay, so then we have this little section here, this lesson, understanding the law of attraction. We can put paragraphs here. We can add any content here, PDFs, whatever you want to do. And then in the lesson settings, these are the lesson settings right here. It gives you, it's hidden, currently hidden. Unlocking, there is no unlocking. I'm going to explain those. Unlocking notifications, completion, the lesson owner, who owns it. So for now, this is me. I own this lesson because I created it, put it together. Comments, thumbnail, default, preview, off, all that good stuff. So the cool thing is that when you create a lesson, you have all these options by clicking on lesson settings, the visibility, the unlock options. So do you want the lesson to be unlocked only in sequence, like someone has to complete the previous lesson before this one becomes available? Do you want it to be a timed unlocked or schedule unlocked for a time and a date even? This is really helpful if you have, like, say, a challenge where it's a month long and every Friday you have a new part that unlocks. You can take care of it ahead of time and just schedule the unlock part when the new content becomes available. Do you want members to be notified when new content becomes available? Now, how do you mark this as completed? Is it simple? Like, you don't have to even track whether it's completed? Do people have to visit it and just visit it basically to complete it, meaning they don't have to do anything with it? Or do they have to push this button that says completed? I've completed this lesson in order to track the progress of the video. And then we have also this option, attract video, before you can choose it. You'll need to add attract video to this lesson before you can choose this option, which is really interesting. This must be a brand new feature because I have never seen it before. Assign the owner. You can assign the owner. These owner can edit and see responses to the lesson. You can add comments. You can change the thumbnails. Now, if someone is not going to join the course, but they want to see a preview of the course, you can turn a preview on. And this is how your members will see it. So amazing power here, because when you realize that every single lesson is actually a fully configurable web page, it's tremendous power to create an unbelievable course with all these pages. And you can even have a quiz put in here, and the passing quiz will determine, how they move on and stuff. So pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. I created another section here called Conclusion and Integration, overcoming resistance and limiting beliefs, maintaining positive energy and vibration. I mean, this is pretty amazing. Now, if you didn't like what it created, guess what? It can try again, or you can clear the outline together. But it gives you a really cool sample of how to start with. So you can reverse engineer this amazing software and say, oh, this is how they do it. This is how they do it. So this is basically how you do it, the best way. And so basically, if you've watched our previous video, you know that your welcome page is basically like a blog page. It's a web page, right? The workshop pages are the same things as welcome pages. They're just integrated in sections and lessons, or nested within sections and lessons. So it's like each one is a separate web page with full web page capabilities for multimedia. And the difference is that the software will keep a track of how these lessons have been completed and whether they've been issued a passing grade, because then you can create quizzes and you have options for the quizzes too. So like here, if I wanted to create a quiz, all I have to do is click the, oops, let's go up to the top here. If I want to create a quiz, I say quiz. And it says the quiz has been added. So let's go to the bottom and we're going to see the quiz. And if we want to add questions, again, we can edit here to edit any of this information, add pictures, whatever, and then we can add questions. So we can add a question here, we can add a photo or a GIF or emojis to the question. And we can say something like who, what, for, since this is law of attraction, we can say something like, how is law of attraction connected to Abraham Hicks? Let's say that. And then first response, let's see. It's, I'm gonna say it belongs to Abraham. Guess what? That's the wrong answer. We're gonna add another response. It belongs to Abraham. Abraham is just one of many that teach this modality. That's the correct answer. How is law of attraction to Abraham Hicks? Let's give a funny answer. Abraham Okay, so that's how you would do. And then, of course, what you're going to do is you're going to select which is the right answer here. So, and you can add a photo, for example. Maybe you want to add a photo of Abraham Hicks, right? Or even an animated GIF. So you're going to select the right answer here, and then you're going to hit the plus key. And you can add a question above or below. And you have up to 5 responses, including 1 correct answer. So we can add another question if we want to. And that's the quiz. And you can put pictures, like I said, in here, and make a really nice, cool-looking quiz. And that's pretty amazing, right? I'm going to save this just for now because, oops, save. And then we're going to go back. Yes, I already saved it. Okay, so here we have quiz settings, and we're going to manage the quiz settings. And again, it's completion options. Now, this is the cool thing. Do you just say, oh, I completed the quiz and I move on? Or do you say, no, they need to pass with a certain score, a certain percentage, an 80 or whatever. So that's how cool. You can make somebody stuck forever, for all eternity in that one lesson if you want to, because they need a passing score. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this slightly humorous little video on how to create a workshop. It gives you the basics. It is very much involved in workshops, but it's so powerful. It's very basic, but it's incredibly powerful the way you can get these little features and combine them together to make a very full functioning, wonderful course, and make that course a part of your marketplace. Thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing day. Bye-bye.